Why do two people live in the same situation, but one always sees life as pressure, while the other sees everything as an opportunity? Perhaps you think the difference lies in skill level, circumstances, or luck. But no, what determines everything is the image in their mind. Welcome to Inner World Podcasts, where Liam Johnson shares about the inner world awareness and deep perspectives that help you transform from within, creating a mindful, complete, and proactive life. Today, we will explore a principle that seems abstract, yet forms the foundation of all transformation: emptiness and mental imagery. This will clarify why you experience this while others do not, why you remain stuck in a loop, and it is also the way for you to change your life results toward what you desire. You know, people often say you must act to get what you want. But if action arises from a fuzzy, unclear destination in your mind, then the results will be unclear. If you start with a clear, vivid image, then action naturally becomes precise and results almost inevitably follow. So the deeper question is not what should I do, but what image do I hold in my mind about what I want? And in today's podcast episode, you will hear about why everything is empty until you define it, how the image you hold mentally defines others and yourself, why, to change the future, you do not need to run outward. And finally, I will share with you a very practical formula to change image, change life. This is important content. I believe it will change how you see loved ones, work, money, and even yourself. So stay until the end of the video, because the most important point I will reveal just before the conclusion, and if you are seeking a root key for life transformation, this is the podcast episode for you. Now take a deep breath and step into the journey to explore inner world, the inner world waiting for you to discover. And to continue today's exploration journey, let us begin from a basic foundation that is often forgotten: emptiness. You know, this is not an abstract philosophical concept, nor is it something mystical. And if you grasp this principle, I believe you will look back at everything in your life with a completely new perspective. Emptiness means that nothing has a fixed essence. Sounds vague, right? But think for a moment. When you look at someone, do you really see them as they are? Or are you looking through a lens shaped by the images already in your mind? An object, a person, a situation, inherently is nothing until you assign it a label, a meaning, a name. And this act of seeing, this assigning of meaning, does not come from the outside world. It comes from within you. It comes from the mental images you've carried all along. That is why, in the same situation, one person sees opportunity, another only sees risk. One sees a lesson, another sees only failure. The difference doesn't lie in the event itself. The event, inherently, is nothing. The difference lies in the image that each person already holds in their mind. Because it is nothing, it has the potential to become anything. And do you know what that means? It means that you are the one defining the world you live in, not the other way around. Some people may say, "Isn't that just fooling myself? Things can't change just because I think differently." And I reply, no, you are not fooling yourself. You are choosing a different image as the root of your perception and action. And as I shared earlier, change the image, change the result. Change the image, change the life. You see, when you change the inner image, your behavior will change. When behavior changes, outer results will follow. There's nothing mystical here. There is only one truth. Every outer result is a reflection of the seed, the image in the mind. And that also means if you're facing difficulty, if you feel stuck, you don't need to change the whole world. You only need to return inward, look again at the image you're holding, and begin from there. That is the key to every lasting transformation, not outside, but within your inner world. Now, take a look at the relationships around you. Maybe there's someone you've had conflict with, someone who makes you uncomfortable. But ask yourself, what image am I holding of this person in my mind? If it's a negative, small image, then no matter how they change, it's hard for you to see the good. But if you change the image, you open up a new perspective, a new possibility. That's why emptiness is not a concept for debate. It's a key of awareness, helping you understand nothing is fixed. Everything can change, and you are the one who initiates that change. If you feel your life is boxed in, limited, then remember, it's not the world limiting you, it's the image in your mind that has created those limits. And from that you have the right to start again, the right to choose again, the right to create a new image, one of a more open, trusting, capable person. Because once you understand this, everything starts to change. And I say again, just as in the original video, you don't need to change the world. You just need to change yourself. And the world will change with you. So, my friend, take a little time to return inward. Reflect on the images that are running your life. And if you see that they no longer fit, be courageous enough to let them go and begin again with a new image, clearer and more expansive. Because excellence is not a result, it's a way of being. And to become someone excellent, you must begin by choosing an excellent image in your mind. And in the next section, we'll dive deeper into how mental images are formed and how you can change them by controlling what you hear, say, see, and know. This is the practice, the part that helps you move from awareness to action. Don't miss it, because the next part is where you truly begin again from the root. And when you begin to understand that nothing has a fixed essence, and that emptiness is the foundation of all potential, a big question arises. What makes something become something in your eyes? The answer lies in the next principle, and it is essential if you want to build your life in the direction you desire. That principle is mental imagery outside life effect. Dear friend, you and I each hold a hidden database, the subconscious. And this subconscious contains something extremely important that few pay attention to. Countless images. These images do not appear by themselves. They are formed from what you have heard, seen, thought, said. It could be an image of a person, a group of people, a job, an opportunity, or even yourself. And the interesting thing is, each time you encounter someone or something, you are not reacting to reality. That image may be beautiful, it may be distorted, it may be an old memory fragment, but it is the lens through which you view life. As mentioned in the previous section, an object is nothing until you assign it an image. And that image, once embedded in the mind, will determine how you perceive everything. Think of it simply: if in your mind the image of someone is difficult, unapproachable, selfish, then even if that person changes, you will still view them through the old lens. And do you know what will happen? Your life, your relationships will continue to operate according to that old image, even if reality may have changed significantly. Because, and this is one of the most important principles I want you to remember, External life is only a reflection of the seed image in your mind. Yes, it is not circumstances that determine your emotions, but the image you hold in your mind about those circumstances. It is not others who hurt you, but the image you hold in your mind about them that causes you pain. And thus we do not live with reality, we live with the image of reality. That is why if you want to change your life, you cannot only change behavior or outcome, you must return and change the root image in your mind. I call this change, image change, life. From this perspective, you will begin to understand why two people experience failure, yet one becomes more resilient while the other collapses. Because in the first person's mind, failure is the image of a lesson, while in the second person's mind, failure is the image of a verdict. Also, you will see why someone enters a difficult relationship but maintains love, while another only sees disappointment and hurt. The difference does not lie in the other person, but in the image that arises from each person's subconscious. Remember, when the image of someone occupies space, you will perceive the world through that image. That is not sentimentality. That is the natural mechanism of the mind. So what determines which image appears? The answer is what you accumulate each day through hearing, seeing, speaking, and knowing. And the wonderful thing is, you can actively choose again. Not only do you understand this principle, but you are shown how to change your subconscious, how to sow new image seeds so that you no longer live as a victim of old frames, but become the author of your own life script. Therefore, look at your current life work, relationships, finances, health, all that is present. That is not random. That is the fruit of the seeds you planted, and the seed here is the image you held in your mind. Want to change the fruit, change the image. Want a better relationship, sow a beautiful image of that person. Want success in a new field, start by creating a clear, positive image of yourself in that new role. Want to overcome fear and doubt, look directly at the image in your mind that causes fear, and dare to choose again. Because if you do not choose, your subconscious will choose for you, and it will choose the old image, and so you will live a new life with an old mind. Do not let that happen. Remember, you do not need motivation, you only need a clear image. Because that image will shape belief. Belief shapes action, and action shapes outcome. That is the profound cause and effect chain that you can fully control, starting from recognizing, then changing the image seed in your mind. And in the next part of today's journey, we will explore how to change that image by actively shifting what you hear, what you say, what you see, and what you know. Do not miss it, because this is the pivotal section where all real transformation begins. And when you understand that the subconscious stores countless images, and that the outer world is only a reflection of the seeds in your mind, you begin to recognize an undeniable truth. The image in your head is determining the results in your life. Yes, you heard correctly. It is not what you are experiencing that is objective reality, it is subjective reality, created by the pictures you have stored, sometimes for a long time, deep in your consciousness. And here is something important. You can change those pictures. Take a minute to reflect. If in your mind you hold the image of a powerless person, not good enough, unlucky, how could you act like someone strong, abundant, successful? You cannot. If the root image is, "I am not worthy," you will find ways to destroy every good thing that comes your way, even if it is real. That is why, if you want to change your life, you must change your image. In other words, change image to change result. Change image to change life. I know it sounds simple, but remember what I shared in previous episodes of Inner World Podcast. You do not live with things, you live with images in your mind about those things. And the point is, most of those images were not created by you intentionally. They accumulated over years from family, society, failures, judgments, and then, without control, you let them become default. From there, you behave by default and live a life by default. But the great news is, you can rewrite that default image. Just as when you change a blueprint, the whole structure changes accordingly. Mental images are the original blueprint for your behavior, habits, results, and destiny. Therefore, if you find yourself repeating old results despite great effort, stop and ask a simple question. What image am I holding about myself, about that situation, and about the other person? Because you know, if you do not actively clarify your image, your mind will automatically choose one, and it is usually an old, small, limited image. Some people ask me, how do I know which image is controlling me? I answer, look at the results you are getting. Because external results are the most accurate mirror of your inner image. If you are living in anxiety, then the image you hold is a future full of uncertainty. If you continuously struggle in relationships, the image you store about others or yourself in that relationship is distorted. The question is, do you want to continue living by old images? Or are you ready to choose again? And there is no foundation deeper than the image you hold in your mind. Changing images is not about thinking positive superficially. Changing image is a process. It is the journey where you identify the old images that are controlling you. Let go of images that no longer serve you, and intentionally sow new images of yourself, others, the future, and different life areas. Because when the image is clear enough, it guides you without force. Like a person who clearly sees the picture of success in their mind, they do not need to force themselves to act. They are naturally drawn to it. And this leads me to another important truth. You do not need more motivation. You need an image that is clear enough. Because the clearer the image, the stronger the belief. The stronger the belief, the more consistent the action. Consistent action leads to certain results. Therefore, if you want to change something in your life, don't just plan. Don't just write down goals. Start by creating a clear image in your mind. An image of a different you, stronger, clearer, deeper. An image of a future that is not just a wish, but a design. And you will see everything around you begins to shift. Because as I always say, excellence is not a result, it's a way of being. And being begins with the image you hold of yourself. That is why in the next part, I will guide you how to redesign your mental image by controlling what you hear, see, and know. Get ready. Because if you are ready to change your image, the next part will be the first step for you to truly change your life. And when you understand that, to change your life, you must first change the image in your mind. One of the most important areas to examine is relationships. Yes, not finances, not career, but relationships where the deepest reflections of what you hold inside appear. especially intimate relationships, marriage, family, those close to you daily. There is a principle that, once understood, will change the way you see your loved ones forever. I call it the principle of light. This principle says, what is illuminated grows. If you shine light on what is good, that goodness will grow. If you shine light on the negative, that negativity will spread. And here is what many overlook. In a marriage, if you do not intentionally amplify the positive image of your partner, the flaws will automatically surface. Why? Because your mind is like a flashlight. Wherever you direct it, you see clearly. And what you see clearly is what you continuously think about, speak about, react to, and gradually you become part of it. Someone once asked me how to change their spouse. And the answer is, don't try to change them. Change the image you hold of them first. When you look at someone through a positive image, you treat them differently. That attitude touches the good in them. When that good is illuminated, it has a chance to grow. But if you view them through a negative image, even a small part, you unintentionally amplify it. You focus, judge, react. And then that becomes a pattern until it seems like their nature in your mind. But it is not their nature. It is the result of where you shone your light. I want you to understand that the images you hold of others are the seeds of the relationships you live. If you want to harvest sweetness, begin by planting sweet images. Interestingly, the closer you are to someone, the more stuck you are in an image of them. That old image becomes fixed in your mind, and you forget that they are changing. You just don't see it anymore. If you do not update your inner image of someone, you live with an outdated version you created. The results: you love, but do not find them lovable. You live together but feel suffocated. You wait for them to change, but you are the one labeling them and trapping them in one fixed story. The question then is, what are you shining light on in your partner? What image of them are you nurturing in their absence? If you keep replaying the same old criticisms, no matter what new things they do, your mind won't register the change. Your light is stuck on the old frames. And do you know what happens? You become the one reinforcing the negative in the other, even if you don't want to. Thus, one of the simplest yet most powerful actions to renew a relationship is: sit down, close your eyes, and intentionally create a new image of the other. A more beautiful image, more humane, more lovable. And you will be surprised, when your internal image changes, your behavior changes. And when your behavior changes, the other person feels it. Then one day you'll say, I didn't expect they had changed. But the truth is, you were the one who changed the image first. The rest is just a result. So if you ask me how to heal a relationship, I will not say start with external actions. I will say start with internal light. To illumine what you want to grow, nurture a beautiful image in your mind. And you will see love, understanding, compassion all return without force or control. Because, as I always emphasize, excellence is not a destination, it's a way of being. And being in a relationship is how you view the other in your inner world. In the next section, I will share specific ways to shine light in the right place by actively tuning what you hear, say, see, and know daily in that relationship. Because every healing begins with the image you hold of that person. And sometimes a new image can save an entire life. And when you have clearly seen the power of inner light, the force that can transform an entire relationship simply by amplifying positive images of another, then I invite you to step into a deeper understanding. The cause-effect formula of the mind. We have talked a lot about change, image, change life, but you may wonder why that is true. What makes a mental image impact real-life results? The answer is clear. It lies in a formula that gives you the key to actively transform every area of life. Here's the formula. Mental image in the mind equals cause. Life results equals effect. To change the effect, you must change the cause. And to change the cause, clarify the image of what you want. What do you think of this formula? But don't let its simplicity deceive you, because it is the core, it is the foundation, it is what differentiates a proactive person from one living by default. Dear friend, we live in an age where everyone rushes to find external solutions. They learn skills, study how to do magic, but very few learn to master the original inner image. So they may change a bit of behavior, but then return to the old, because the cause has not changed. Imagine planting a tree. You cannot expect apples if you keep planting orange seeds. Even if you water, prune, or pray, the fruit will still be orange. Similarly, if the image you hold about yourself is, "I am weak, I am unworthy, I often fail," then no matter how many skills you learn, you will act from that cause. And the result, sooner or later, returns to that original frequency. Always remember, if you want to change the effect, don't rush to change behavior. Return and change the original image in your mind first. Ask yourself, what image am I holding about what I desire? For example, if you want a new job, have you clearly visualized yourself in that role? If you want a loving relationship, have you formed a clear image of your ideal partner in your mind? If you want financial freedom, have you held a clear image of yourself as abundant and proactive? Because, and I emphasize this again, if you don't clarify the image, you haven't truly begun. When the image is clear, your mind naturally directs behavior toward that image. You don't need to force yourself too much, because a strong image will automatically generate motivation, action, and correct choices. Someone who has a clear image of being studious will naturally focus in class. Someone with a clear image of living healthily will automatically make healthful choices. Someone with a clear image of loving will naturally speak kindly and respond gently. Not through forced control, but because the inner image is leading the way. On the contrary, if the image is vague, you will get lost, lack motivation, and easily give up. You will live in longing, but never reach what you want, because you did not plant the right cause. And so you go searching for more courses, tools, advice, forgetting that what needs to be done is simply clarify the image from the start. Therefore, right now, I invite you to take a small action with great power. Sit down, close your eyes, and write out clearly the image you want in each area: work, relationship, health, finances, the person you want to become. The clearer you write it, the closer the result. Because from now on, you have the formula. The mental image is the cause of our life. Results are the effect. And if the cause is clear, the effect will come. Just plant the right seed and consistently cultivate that image every day. Dear friend, this is the pinnacle of mastery. Not controlling behavior, but steering the original image in your mind. And from that, all else will flow naturally. Here we distinguish two concepts: ordinary people and awakened or mindful people. Ordinary people focus on desired results. They set goals like, I want a bigger house, a nicer car, a better physique, more brilliant career. Therefore, they invest in what to do by improving behavior and external circumstances. They do not realize that all actions and results are still controlled by the seed of an image in their mind. This leads to, even if they change behavior, they remain limited by the old image, like planting the same seed, watering with the same approach. The result remains the same. Awakened people focus on the seed or cause. They ask not how to get results, but what cause am I holding in my mind? They know if the seed is big enough, the result will come naturally, without force. They understand that changing the mental image is the core, because change image is change result. Change image is change life. They plant a new seed, a clear, positive image, and then witness transformation from the inside out. When starting anything, ask yourself, am I clear on the image here? Image means the picture in your mind. This is not a rhetorical question. It is a test to verify you have planted the right seed. It awakens you. Are you holding a vague image, lacking clarity, or watching a low-resolution movie? If the answer is not clear, you need to pause and clarify the image more. Meaning, bring the image in your mind to life, not just say words. The difference between ordinary people and awakened ones is, ordinary look at results but forget to care for the seed and roots. They act, but it is walking in fog. Sometimes right, sometimes wrong. Awakened monitor their subconscious and illuminate the seed they plant. Clearly, then act, and the result is simply inevitable. The difference lies in knowledge, but more importantly, in aware action. Imagine. If you want to study well, be clear image. I am someone who reads daily, understands deeply, applies lessons. Ordinary person only buys books or joins courses, but is unclear who they will become after learning. Awakened person already has a clear image, then actions follow automatically, like choosing the right time and way to study. If you want a good relationship, be clear image. I listen, understand, and speak words that uplift the other person. Ordinary person just thinks, I need love, without clarity how to love. Awakened person envisions specific actions, words, attitude, and then lives according to that image. Here are 6 steps to practice image clarity to enter an awakened state. Step 1. Stop and ask, what image am I holding about what I want to achieve? Step 2. Write it down in detail. Who, what, how, what it feels like. Step 3. See it clearly in your mind. Close your eyes and imagine a vivid picture in your inner vision. Step 4. Align hearing, speaking, seeing, knowing with that image. Step 5. Observe the result. If the result has not appeared, return to Step 1 and adjust the original image. Step 6. Repeat until your life is truly transformed. In the previous part, we saw an awakened person plants a clear seed and the result is just the inevitable rendezvous. And to plant the right seed, you need to know where it comes from. That is, what you hear every day from people around you, your environment, your knowledge sources. What you say to yourself and to others, words that have the power to build or destroy the image. What you see through your eyes, through experiences, through media. And what you know, knowledge, experiences, beliefs. All those layers combined form the inner image store you carry every day. If you want to change the image, follow this order. First, change what you know. This is the fastest way, because knowledge can change immediately when you receive new information. A story, a fact, a true insight can awaken you, and the image in your mind can change right away if you allow it to take the lead. Next, create conditions to hear and see. Once you have new knowledge, create an environment for your mind to register it. Choose to read a book, listen to a helpful podcast, have healthy conversations. Limit negative news, meaningless talk, ugly images. Because the mind records images through eyes and ears, make sure you are deliberately exposing yourself to the right content. Then change how you speak about the issue and people. Once you have new knowledge and a supportive environment, begin to speak in a way that builds the image you just changed. Self-reminding, I am learning to master my emotions. Speaking to others, I believe you have the ability. Speaking correctly not only helps memorize, but also embeds positive emotion into the mind, making the new image sink deeper. When you know the above, it is very important to practice changing the image in your daily life. Imagine you want to change how you view yourself amid life pressures. Change, no. Learn pressure is not the enemy, but a signal that you are growing. Listen to a deep share, read a professional article. 2. Build an environment to hear, see. Subscribe to a podcast, listen while walking or running. Avoid negative news. Expand understanding through positive sources. 3. Change speaking. Instead of saying, I am too stressed, tell yourself, pressure gives me opportunity to grow. To a loved one, thank you for sharing when I needed someone to listen. And then observe the result. Do you feel less tension? Do you act friendlier, feel more stable? Remember and apply this formula. Change, know, then change, speak. Change, hear, see. Changing what you know is changing the image. Controlling hear, see is changing the image. If not enough, return to step 1, find newer, clearer understanding. Because the seed is still the cause, you need to plant it clearly. Remember, guidance, techniques, good books, time are useful, but the core determinant lies in the image you hold in your mind. When you are clear, tools become effective. When you are vague, you will still be caught in old cycles. And the wonderful thing is, this is a lifelong free mind training course. You do not need to go far, you just need to know how to hear, know how to select, know how to speak correctly, and then trust the change. Dear friend, we have moved from emptiness. Everything is nothing, therefore can be anything, to mental images, and understand result reflection. Then to the cause-change formula. To the awakened person, asking, am I clear on the image? Now to the method of creating the root image. You are gradually mastering the inner transformation roadmap. A roadmap that not only helps you learn, but helps you truly become a new person from the inside. May today be the day you wake up with a proactive mindset. Open your inner world and ask yourself, what image am I holding? Do I need to be clearer? Do I need to change something right now? You do not need to rush, but you need consistency in the order know, hear, see, and you also need the courage to repeat if needed. In the final part of today's journey, we will go into the secret of controlling the image through the 4 factors: hear, speak, see, know. Prepare yourself because you are approaching the place where real transformation begins to sprout. Dear friend, we have just journeyed together through a profound path, from recognizing the emptiness of all things to understanding that every outcome in life is merely a reflection of the images within our minds. From the simple yet miraculous formula, change the image and you change the result. Change the image and you change your life, through the art of creating and nurturing the right seeds each day through hearing, speaking, seeing, and knowing. I do not know who you are, where you are, or what turns your life is taking. But if you are still here, listening until the very last moments, I believe you are no longer someone living by old inertia. You are awakening or ready for a breakthrough. And if this has truly touched something within you, ask yourself, have I clearly seen the image I want to plant in my life today? If the answer is yes, then let your next action be a part of that beautiful image. Share this video with someone you feel may need a new seed in their mind. Subscribe to the channel so that each episode released is not just a video, but a reminder that you are on the journey of nurturing your inner world. And if you feel this content deserves to be shared, give it a small sign of support so that the creators know this awakening path continues to grow in quality and reach. I am Liam Johnson, and you are journeying with the Inner World podcast. We do not just listen, we create. Not just learn, but plant seeds for a purposeful, peaceful, and grounded life from within. Thank you for being here. See you in the next episode. Goodbye and take care until then.